Bhajana Rahasya. This is November 2nd, and these are the instructions on Prem Nam Bhajan from Astamayama Sadhana chapter number 8, which is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on Sri Chaitanya Shikshastakam. Ashli Shiva Parvatam Banashtamam Darshanam Mamtam Kurutava Itatata Vavidradantam Lapatam Atmananatasya Seva Naparha. And verses 2 through 8 of Bhajana Rahasya, Thakur Bhaktivinoda is explaining how to attain the Prem Seva of the Lord. And this book is leading us in the direction of the service of Srimati Radharani in the Kunjas of Vrindavan, in a Siddhadeya in Madhura Bhav as a gopi. So now we've come to verse number 5, text number 5, which is a quotation from Radhara's Sudhanidhi. And here in this verse he's explaining how to attain the Sarup Siddhi as a manjari. Sarup Siddhi means the perfect form, the spiritual identity of a perfected devotee. So this is the manjari aviman. This is the mentality or the thinking of a manjari and their eternal identity. Tukulam vibраmanam ata kuchatate kanchu kapatam prasadam swaminya swakara taladatam pranayata stityam nityam parshve vivida parichayaka chataram kishorim atmanam chatula parakiyam nukalaye. So this is a Radhara Sudhanidhi by Prabhupada Saraswati. And the translation is, when will I remain near Swamini Radha eternally? Intent on serving Radha in various ways. When wearing Radha's silken cloth and choli or bodhis that she affectionately gave me with her own hands, will I be able to count myself as a clever and beautiful Kishori? So there's another translation. In my spiritual body, I am a gopi maidservant of Srimati Radhika, a Kinkari Manjari. I wear Radha's prasadi cloth and blouse. Though I am a young Kishori, I have left my husband's home to serve Radha day and night in the forest bowers of Vrindavan. This is actually the translation of the Bengali version of this verse written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's so conveniently taken all these Sanskrit shlokas of his treatise, Bhajana Rahasya, and put each individual 200 of the 200 verses in Sanskrit from Srimad Bhagavatam or Radhara Sudhanidhi or Krishna Karnamrita or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He's put them into the common vernacular of Bengali, of his audience, their Bangla Bhasha. So he makes it easy for them. Siradeya Gopiyami Shri Radhika Kinkari Radha Prasadita Vastra Kanchulika Pari Grihe Pati Parihari Kishori Vayase Radha Pada Sevi Kunje Rajana Divase. So this is very nice. This is all about the thinking, the hankering, and the rag marg. If someone is a jata rati sadhak, means that his bhav has taken birth, has appeared. He has established himself on the level of bhava bhakti. Then he's not praying, when will I get a siddhadeya, or when will I attain Sarup Siddhi. He is in his siddhadeya. He has attained Sarup Siddhi, and he's engaged in Radharani's service in his manasi puja. But this series of verses within the context of Prem Nam Bhajan Sadhana, Astamayama Sadhana, verses 2 through 8, number 12, 19, and 22, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is stepping back a bit to address the Ajata Rati Sadhaka, that sadhaka who has not yet attained Rati or Bhava, and giving him the instructions how he can develop the proper thinking and the proper hankering and the proper praying to more quickly focus on his eternal identity and attain that prem seva and realize his own siddhade as a mandri, maid servant of Srimati Radharani. So this series of verses is all about cultivating not the actual service in a particular siddhade, but just cultivating the siddhade itself. What is the thinking that, well, I'm thinking I want to do this service and I want to be among her. I want to see myself and count myself and think of myself as a Kinkari, a Mandri of Radharani, and what will I look like? Well, the specifics of my identity are not yet revealed to me, but at least in a general way, I like other Mandris, will be the fortunate recipient of Radharani's prasadi vastra, the remnants of her cloth, just like sometimes we get deity prasadi vesh. We often see the very interesting sight in Vrindavan. The renunciates, they will be wearing very simple, clean but soiled, as Prabhupada would say, clean but soiled white cloth. It's white, but they don't use blue bleach, and they don't use any bleach, so it's been washed in water and hung in the sun, so it's actually clean but soiled. There are oil stains there, and it's kind of grayish. It's not pearly bright white, like a grihastha would like to wear, but it's actually clean, but probably clean but soiled. So it appears not so pucka, brilliant, super sunshine white, as they advertise all these soap powders. So they look very plain and very simple dress, but then sporting on their headgear is quite amazing. Their particular hat that they're wearing, often they're wearing in the wintertime what has become known as the Swami hat in ISKCON, because we didn't realize when we first saw Srila Prabhupada in New York and America, and he brought his sadhu hat, his sadhu cap from India. We didn't realize that this is what all sadhus wear in India. They all have some little handmade cap that fits over their head and buttons under their chin, and it looks so cute, and it outlines their face, and it comes in wool, or usually in wool, and it's lined or whatever. That they're worn everywhere by every sadhu all over India. It's the basic sadhu winter headgear. It's their fashion, it's their necessity. So when we saw Prabhupada wearing that hat, we said, what is that hat that Prabhupada's wearing? And someone said, it's a Swami hat. So that became known as the Swami hat, and then that became the fashion, the winter fashion, or what's the prescribed, not prescribed, the chosen headgear of all the members of ISKCON, especially the brahmacharis, and who are less attached to their bodies, and some grihasthas that were more, interested in following Prabhupada to the T. So I generally saw in my days in the temples that all the brahmacharis would have their saffron Swami hats, and matching their saffron shirts and saffron socks and saffron dhotis and saffron underwear, and let's not forget their saffron shoes. And those were the real showstoppers. Because saffron hats and clothes people can somewhat relate to, but when you start sporting saffron tennis shoes and saffron deck shoes, then you're really the talk of the town. Because they come in white or blue or brown from the factory, or red, and that's about it. But they don't come in saffron. Impossible. They just don't make that color, at least they never did. So the brahmacharis would get the white shoes, and the first thing they'd do is go to the washing machine with a bunch of dye and throw them in and get orange shoes. And people with their eyes would fall out and they would look at it and say, okay, orange hat, no hair, orange shirt. Because people usually like to check each one out from head to toe. This is the way we look from head to toe. So when they got to the shoes, they said, oh, this is too much, look at those shoes. So Prabhupada wore the Swami hat. So now, when we came to India, we said, oh my God, everybody's got these hats. And we went into this clothing stores in the Kadi Gram Yog shop or to any clothing store and said, do you have these kind of hats that sadhus wear? And said, oh, you mean sadhu cap? Or they would say sadhu cap. They wouldn't say Swami hat. We would go into the store and say, do you have a Swami hat? They said, what is that Swami hat? They would get some prasadi vesh, if you're wondering where it all started. We're talking how this verse from Radharasa Sudhanidhi, Prabodhananda Saraswati and Manjari Bhava is saying, when will I receive some prasadi vesh from Radharani? When will I get her pink choli or blouse to cover my breasts with, and which she has previously worn? And when will I receive her chadar or some other cloth? And I will cherish that as Mahaprasad, and I will wear that on my tender Kishori body as her protected maidservant. And I will decorate myself with that in my sarup as part of my identification, my abhiman as a manjari. I belong to Radharani. I am Radha Sneha Adhika. I have Adhik. I have super extra amount of love and affection, attachment for Radha. Much, much, much more than for Krishna. And I pride myself in being in Radharani's her Supaksha Sakhis. And I'm very proud to wear Radharani's clothes. Hey, Manjari, where'd you get that blouse? This is Radharani's. Acha? She gave you her blouse? Yes. How it happened? I was in Nidhiban and Lalita Sakhi and Rupa Manjari, they said, you go in and you clean, the divine couple have just woken up and they're freshening up their faces. Why don't you go and, clean up the flower bed and pick up any malas or garlands? And I found in the corner of the bed, I found Radharani's choli or kanchuli. Because in the haste to get up in the morning in Nishant Leela at 4:30 in the morning and run out of Nidhiban to return to Yavad or to Nandagram, Radha and Krishna got up in such haste that they dressed up in each other's clothes. And Radharani had her blue sari on her lower part of her body, but she grabbed Krishna's yellow chadar and put it on the top of her body. So she didn't have anything but the yellow chadar. And Krishna, in his haste to leave the kunja, the Keli Kunj, he jumped up with his yellow dhoti around his body and he grabbed Radharani's blue chunari, I think it's a chunari, and he put it over his shoulders and ran out. And then when he got home and he's lying in bed in Nandagram and Mother Yashoda came in to wake him with Yogamaya, and then Yogamaya was saying, oh, isn't this... And Mother Yashoda said, why are you wearing Balaram's blue chadar? What happened to your yellow chadar? And then Madhumanga was there, so I know what happened to it. I'll tell you. And then Sham says, gives some eyes to Madhumanga, goes, shut up, don't you say anything. If you say anything, I won't give you any lauders, I'll kill you. Don't say anything, Madhumanga. Oh, Mother Yashoda. Oh yeah, Dao, somehow when we were wrestling, Dao, we misplaced. Dao took my yellow, Dao is Daoji. Dao took my yellow chadar and I got his blue one. So when I found this choli and when I returned it to Radharani at the appropriate time in a very secret and private way, so even the Sakhis didn't even see that I was handing this choli to her. And then we got back to Yavad after Radharani put it on, of course. And that morning later when I was bathing her, she said, hey Sakhi, hey, Sakhi Ao, you take this choli. I have a new one. I just got a new one from the tailor. You take this one. This is a special choli. This is the one from last night. Oh, wow. then you wear that. That's what he's saying. Wearing her silken bodice that she affectionately gave me with her own hands, will I be able to count myself as a clever and very beautiful Kishori. Radha Rasya Nidhi Ki Jai. Because every verse is about a pastime that he's seeing in his spurti, his prem avesh. Spurti is a Saki Manjari of Radharani. Of course, he's also Saki, Tunga Vidya, but sometimes he's praying. He also, Acharyas say that he also has a Manjari Swarup and a Saki Swarup. So Radha Rasya has many verses about Manjari Seva and Manjari Abhiman. So this verse is given to us in text 5 of Bhajana Rahasya, Prem Nam Bhajan, to direct the quality of our thinking and to direct the quality of our aspiration as a sadhak and a jata rati sadhak, a practitioner of devotion who has not yet attained bhav. He has to think of something, and he has to desire something. So he should think, what should he think, or she think? When will I remain near Swami eternally? When will I live next to Swami? When will I take birth in Varsana? When will I move to Yavat, and I will have my place in Yavat? I'll be just near her, just like if someone lives across the street. When will I be living near my Guru? When will I have darshan of my Guru every day? But it is part of the daily sadhana that the disciple wants to just have that great fortune, that great opportunity to offer dandavats to his Gurudev and just to have his darshan. Because those days are numbered and those opportunities are numbered, because all too soon the Guru disappears and goes to Nitya Leela. Then we can't offer obeisances to his Vapu form, his sadhak form, and we can't see him absorbed in Bhakti Bhajan. So that is their daily practice. So they're living here. So the manjaris are thinking, the sadhaka is thinking, when will I be in not my sadhaka swarup, seeing my Guru every day and serving my Guru every day, either by bhajan or just offering obeisances, if nothing more. That's my sadhaka daya aspiration and maybe my reality. But as a sadhaka aspiring for Gopi Bhav, one is thinking, when in my Sarup Siddhi, as a Saki Manjari, a Paliyadasi of Radharani, when will I live near Radharani? I'll be in Varsana, like we visited the Asasaki gowns, and all the Asasakis, Radharani is like a crown on their head. You know, everyone can see the crown on your head. Something that's in your pocket or in your back or below your belly, maybe not everyone sees. So Radharani is a crown on the head of all the Saki Manjaris. And the same way, her Janam Sthan in some kalpas, she's born in the Varsana in some kalpas. But her Vas, Radha Vas, her Nivas, Radha Nivas, the original Radha Nivas, people name their houses Radha Nivas. But the original Radha Nivas of Varsana, Varsani Wali Radhe Ki Jai. She's living as the crown Vasa, you could say the Mukut Vas of all the Saki Manjaris. Their places of residence, of birth and growing, are all scattered in the valley around the mountain. And what are the names of those villages? Anjankot or something? Ajnot and Raholi. Rakoli and Ajnot and Rakoli and Unchagaon. Eight, no? Asasaki, 8 gowns. Chiksoli. We visited all these in our yatra. Rakoli, Chiksoli, Rakoli, Chiksoli, Unchagaon, Anjanot. What is it? Sunera. Sunhera. S-U-N-H-E-R. Sunhera. And all these beautiful villages around, Lalita, Vishaka, and etc., Rangadevi and Chitrasaki. They're all around, and from their house they can look over and say, there's Radha, Swami Radha's place. They wake up, and then they run up the hill. Because she's at the top of the hill, and there's no elevators, and there's no rickshaws, and there's no bicycles, and so they have to run. Saki run, Saki jao. Oh, why is my guru running down the Govardhan Prickle Marg? Just slow down and walk like some donkey like us. No, he's running because he's thinking something different. I'm running up the hill, I'm running up Barsana Hill to be near my Swamini and serve her. And what am I wearing as I'm running up the hill and living near her? I'm wearing her clothes, or prasadi vesh. This is prasadam swaminya swakara taladatam pranayata. Tukulam vibranam ata kuchatate kanchu kapatam prasadam swaminya. Swamini prasad. Swamini Shri Radha, Swamini Shri Radha. Siddhadeya Gopi, then he puts this in Bengali, Sanskrit, it's nice. Siddhadeya Gopi Ami Shri Radhika Kinkari. So you're Siddhadeya Gopi Ami. I am a Gopi in my Siddhadeya. And what is my identity? I am Radhika Kinkari, remembering Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bengali version of the Radha Rahasya Nidhi, text 53. Siddhadeha Gopi Ami Sri Radhika Kinkari. That's very simple. Anyone can understand. In my spiritual body, I'm a maidservant of Radharani. Radha Prasadita Vastra Kanchulika Pari. Radha Prasad, Vastra. Vastra means clothing. Kanchulika. Kanchulika. What a nice way to say blouse. Blouse means the part that covers this part of the woman, right? Blouse. It's called blouse. Probably a French word, blouse or something. They say blouse in English, or they say American English. But Kanchulika Pari. Grihe Pati Pari Hari Kishori Vayase. Grihe Pati, this means Grihe Pati. Pati means husband. The house of my husband, Pari Hari. Pari Hari, it means to take away, right? Hara. Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham. You know this verse? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I come as death and take away everything. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. I am death and I take away everything. So pari hari. Pari means completely hari. So the translation is Grihe pati pari hari kishori vayase. I have left my husband's home to serve Radha day and night. Radha pada sevi kunje rajani divase. Very easy. It's like, if you know Hindi, you can know every single one of these words is almost the same as Hindi. It's not, it's Bengali. Radhapada Sevi. Is that, you can figure that out with Hindi? Serving the feet of Radharani. Kunje, in the Kunja. Rajani Divase, means Rajani means night. Rajani Divas. Divas means daytime. In my spiritual body, this is an instruction, this is a shiksha, this is one of the steps of mental meditation or aspiration or hankering or thought that we should have as ajatarati sadhakas aspiring to attain bhava and prema, pure love of God. These are bhajan shiksha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is acting as our bhajan shiksha guru. And he's teaching us the secrets of bhajan in a book called The Secrets of Bhajan, which is Bhajana Rahasya. Whose secrets are they? They're Radharani's secrets that were revealed to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he's revealing unto us who are interested in becoming Paliyadasis of Radharani. We want Krishna Prema, we want Brajabhav, we want to live in Vrindavan, we want to serve the lotus feet of Radharani. And if you don't, it's still all right to sit here and hear all these topics because they will purify your heart. Because all the same principles and line of thought and all the same shiksha applies. You just do a minor adjustment. And when will I remain near Balaram eternally, or Krishna eternally, or when will I remain near Yashoda eternally and serve her in various ways? When will I wear Yashoda's prasadi vesh? This is basically the same. When will I be able to count myself as a clever and very beautiful cowherd boy? Everything's the same, not much difference. So when we give instructions for Madhurya Mahi Sadhana, how to become a Gopi Sakhi Manjari, then automatically it includes how to become a mother of Krishna, or a nurse of Krishna, or a father, how to become a friend or a servant. It's not necessary to make separate instruction. But the intention of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, since he is a Manjari, Kamala Manjari, is to emphasize specifically the attainment of pure love of God, and specifically in the mood of Brajabhav, as a Manjari maidservant in what is called Bhav Ulas Rati. Bhav Ulas Rati, which is sometimes considered to be a separate sthai rati, which makes it 6 sthai ratis, which is rather unusual because everywhere in Rasa Shastra and other places it says there's 5 permanent loving relationships. But generally it's considered to be an aspect of Madhurya Rati, conjugal loving relationship. Although the Manjaris per se, they do not generally, although there are exceptions of course, but they do not generally have Rati Vilas with Krishna, which means intimate conjugal union, whereas the Sakhis do. So the type of bhav that the Sakhis have is Parakiya bhav, and they have this full-blown Madhurya bhav, their Madhurya Rati. Madhurya Rati means conjugal love. Swakiya bhav means Krishna is my husband, Rukmini Dwarkadish. And Parakiya bhav means Madhurya bhav, conjugal love, but Krishna, I have another husband. This is an extramarital relationship. Now the Manjaris are also in Madhurya bhav, they're assisting the conjugal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, which means Madhurya bhav. But they experience another type of bhav, which is an offshoot, you could say, of Madhurya bhav, which is unique to the Sakhi Manjaris of Radharani, the Kinkaris, or Palyadasis of Radharani, who are a little bit younger than the Sakhis, and do not have this intimate conjugal union with Krishna, like the other gopis, like Radharani. And that's called Bhav Ulas Rati. Their permanent devotional attachment towards Krishna and Radha, specifically towards Radha, and their hearts are fully tied to Radha, and their minds are fully tied to Radha. And whatever bhavas, whatever Mahabhav Ulas means rises, that Mahabhav that rises in Radharani's heart is reflected and tasted and experienced in the hearts of the Manjaris and not the Sakhis. That's called Bhav Ulas Rati. It's a unique flavor. So that's speciality of the Manjaris. So Rupa Goswami is teaching in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and also in Ujjvala Nilamani how to develop Bhav Ulas Rati as a Manjari. This is the Rati. But it's all within the context of Parakiya Bhav is there. The Manjaris are married and they have the feeling they're running away from their husbands to be with Krishna, but they're lining up with Radharani and bringing her to Krishna, and she's enjoying Krishna directly. And they're experiencing all the ecstasies and bhavs and divine bliss, and even more so than Radharani sometimes. It's described in Adi Lila chapter 4. So this is the instruction he's giving us. When will I see myself as a beautiful young girl, expert in all varieties of personal service, standing beside the divine couple wearing a dress and blouse formerly worn by my own mistress, Swami Radharani, and affectionately given to me by her personally. That's the translation of the verse. Excuse me?
The second book you mentioned?
Rupa Goswami taught the science of devotion and concluded and gave some more emphasis on Madhurya Bhav. Specifically, Bhavalas Rati is mentioned there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And then the following sequel to that, which is all about Madhurya Rati specifically, and not the other Ratis, is called Ujjvala Nilamani. And this translation of Bhakti Vinod Thakur's verse, Sira Dehi Gopiyami Shri Radha Kinkari Radha Prasadita Vastra Kanchulika Pari Grihe Pati Pari Hari Kishori Vayas Radha Pada Sevi Kunje Rajani Divas. In my spiritual body, Sira Deha, I am a gopi. Sira Dehi Gopi Ami. The maid servant of Srimati Radharani, Sri Radha Kinkari. I wear Radha's used cloth and blouse. Though I am an adolescent girl, I have left my husband at home to serve, in order to serve Radha day and night in the forest bowers of Vrindavan. That is a splendid idea. Radha Rani ki jai. The Rasikacharyas conclude that when the sadhak enters the stage of perfection, he attains that bhav upon which he meditated when he was in the stage of sadhana. This is that specific Rasikacharya's Narottam Das Thakur. He's describing this in Prem Bhakti Chandrika. Sadhana something habe, siddha prapti hat bhabe or something. He says that a ripe mango starts as a green mango. You don't get a ripe mango from nowhere. It starts off as a mango seed. Then it becomes a green mango, and finally a luscious, yellow, red, fragrant, tasty, delicious, ripe mango, which will have to wait a long time to taste. So we also may have to wait a long time to taste the ripe mango of Prema Bhakti. So it starts off with a seed. Pramande Brahmate Kon Bhagyavan Aji Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The Guru places in the heart of the Shishya the seed of his, and that is in the form of mantra. Cling. This is the mantra of desire, the bija mantra of desire. Material desire and spiritual desire. Cling. And then he gives a meditation according to the line and direction of his bhav. And then the disciple chants that mantra and he meditates. And that becomes his sadhana. So then he attains the bhav upon which he meditated when he was in a stage of sadhana. No sadhana, then if you're just, so this is why it's so essential to be connected to Guru. Because connection with Guru is connection with his bhav. Secrets of the trade. So he says, whatever you do in your sadhana, so if you're never meditating on Vrindavan, and you're never thinking of Radha and Krishna, and you're never thinking of a spiritual body, or never thinking of serving Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, then how will you ever attain that? You won't. And because you're not following any resident of Vrindavan. Because if you're following any resident of Vrindavan as a sadhaka, or as a siddha, if you're following any resident of Vrindavan as a sadhaka, either in your manasik deha or your sadhaka deha, then you will be directed to think like this and to desire like this. But if you're following someone who is wholly absorbed in the Vaidhi Marg and serving very nicely, then by that service you'll go to Vaikuntha in Dasyarati, because he or she, the Guru, is training you in service. So we're talking about the practice. This is what we call Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. That's what the subject of this teachings that Bhakti Vinod Thakur is giving us in verse 2 through 9 and 12 and 19 through 22. He's teaching us the sadhana as a sadhak who does not have bhava or prema, who has not realized his siddhadeha, does not understand what his eternal identity is. How he can start thinking in that line and start desiring that line, and he may land up as he advances in his attachment and his taste by this particular path of sadhana, which will produce tremendous taste because it's all full of ras. He'll get so much taste and encouragement and enlivenment that before he knows it, he'll land up, this will be a sadhya, that he will come to the threshold of bhava. He'll become very attached at the level of asakti, and he'll become aware of his siddhadeha, step by step, aspect by aspect. The feelings, the service, and the specifics are revealed by the mercy of the Lord. So this is all the guardians of devotion who are teaching the path of Raganuga Bhakti are telling the same basic thing. That's why he's quoting other teachers of Raganuga Bhakti, like Narottam Das Thakur, Prabhupada Saraswati, and Raghunath Das Goswami, and of course himself, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The cherished desire, cherished means that which you hold very dear, that which you really want, that thing that you really want, oh, I really want this, I really want this. You want some house, you want some car, you want some husband, wife, this, that, and you cherish that, and you do so many things and so many other desires come and go. Oh, I want to eat this, and I want to eat that, and I want to buy this. But underneath that all, there's one burning, very powerful, strong desire. It's your beacon light. Beacon light, which is guiding the boat to the safe shore in the dark waters of the ocean. There's a beacon light, bing, 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 like you go to Puri. There's these beacon lights on the beach that are blinking to guide the ships to yes, this is Puri, and they sail up the coast at night following these lights. And so many kilometers they know, that was that light in Choka Lake. Now this next light is 10 kilometers up the coast. So my map is telling me that's the beacon light of the Puri. And then I go further up and it's like this. So this beacon light underneath all those desires that's the cherished desire. It's not that we don't have so many desires, we have so many. And most of them are ulterior desires and material desires, and they're not very appropriate nor favorable for bhakti. They're pratikul. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. So he says, Narottam Das Thakur says, the cherished desire of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas is to possess the self-identity, abhiman, of being a maidservant of Sri Radha. That's why we titled this verse, text 5, as Mandri Abhiman, the eternal identity of a Mandri. So we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and this is our treasure of our Siddhanta. It says, that verse is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita describing the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's advent. Swabhakti Shriyam, that he came to distribute and disseminate bhakti, that special bhakti to Shri Bhakti, that beautiful mood of dedication and absorption in pleasing and satisfying Srimati Radharani. Everywhere, everyone's preaching Krishna Dasya, Vishnu Dasya, Ram Dasya, all the Shrutis and Smritis and all the Acharyas of the Vaishnava Siddhanta of the four Sampradayas, four Vaishnava Sampradayas, Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, they're all preaching Krishna Dasya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining this verse, how to develop this abhiman. Abhiman means a way of thinking, the mentality. Because, like you see, there's a phrase in Christianity. They say, they say the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. In other words, Maya made me fall down, or Maya made me misbehave, or engage in misconduct, which is not really very spiritual, or very pure-hearted, or very pleasing to God or Guru. It's my weaker side. Or they have another phrase, the soul is willing, but the flesh is weak. So that means that we all have so many ungodly desires and rather gross ambitions. But our acharyas say that we should have one cherished ambition. A Gaudiya Vaishnava, a follower of Radha and Krishna in the mood of, Vrajabhav, and a worshipper of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who has given this Gopi Bhav and preached Raganuga Bhakti and engaged his followers in distributing Raganuga Bhakti. We should, okay, all those things are there, but underneath it all, the cherished desire, aside from all those non-spiritual desires which drag us here and there and entangle us in so many untoward circumstances, we should have one cherished desire, which means our predominant abhiman, our predominant mentality is, as a follower of Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Madhurya Bhav, is I want to be a Palyadasi maidservant, an eternally, a tenderly protected maidservant of Srimati Radharani. This is the meditation, this is the mentality underneath it all. This is my core. And there's a lot of things maybe on top of that, but this should be, so when we meditate and when we chant and when we read, and what we read is all going in a direction towards accomplishing that and fulfilling that notion and attaining that cherished desire. It's like someone might have a cherished desire. Well, my cherished desire, when I get through of all this, is to, to have a little house on the banks of this river and just spend my days fishing and watching the clouds go by. Some person from America who works so hard and he has 5 kids and drives a tractor trailer truck, and he's thinking, well, when I finish all of this layers and layers and work out my karma, as they say, and my kids are married and my wife, and I'll just retire. He's always thinking, so he's working and the kids and the wife and all the things he has to go through, but he's thinking, well, someday, somehow I'm going to get that little cottage and have that little farmhouse, and just, because he remembers that when he would go once in a while and have a fishing trip or something, he felt so peaceful and happy and joyful with nature and no trucks and no kids and no wife. And so that's that's somewhat of an instantly analogy to describe the cherished desire concept. So we have cherished desires as sadhakas, spiritually cherished spiritual desires. And that is the content, that desire becomes the direction and the content of our sadhana. Our sadhana is simply a series of attempts. Our sadhana is simply a series of attempts and various practices, physical and mental practices, which are directed towards fulfilling our cherished desire. Is it not? We don't just walk around all day and say, I want to be, I want to be. They have this phrase, I want to be beautiful. So I try my best, but the bottom line is, I'm ugly. I try every damn thing, a new hairdo, a new facial, a new apricot cleanser, and cucumber exfoliation creams, and God knows whatever thing, and tease my hair and dye my hair and drag my hair and straighten it and this and that, and try this fashion, that fashion. And when it's all said and done, every day I'm getting older, and every day instead of getting more beautiful, I'm getting uglier. So I'm losing my cherished desire is not being fulfilled. I'm not getting closer to that goal. I'm actually losing my mind in pursuit of this ridiculous ambition. But a devotee who's doing sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana with the cherished desire to be Radharani's manjari, he's getting closer and closer to the goal with every meditation, with every reading, with every discussion, with every association. And he can taste it, because it's ruchi, it's built into the program, it's real, it's transcendental. It's spiritual sadhana, it works, it's scientific. My guru followed this path, and his guru followed this path, and my param guru, my guru is a manjari, and my param guru is a manjari. And and they taught this path, and I understand that this is the direction, and I want this goal, and I'm following, and they told me at this step you'll come to nishta, and when you come to nishta you'll experience this. Oh, acha, yeah, that's right. This is nishtita bhakti, and then you go and you come to the level of ruchi, and you'll experience this. Oh yeah, I mean, this is right. This is science. This is not some imagination. If you don't follow the scientific method, how can you get the scientific result? There's hypotheses. There's the hypotheses, and then there's the experimentation or endeavor, and observation, then conclusion. This is the scientific method, yes or no? Yes. So he's saying you want to be, the hypothesis says, hypotheses, or the let's say the sambandha is how to become a manjari, let's say. So well, do like this. Okay, engage in these endeavors, which means that's the experimentation. Then observe the result of your experiment or your endeavors. What's happening? Are you progressing in your nam-bhajan? Are you progressing in your sadhana bhajan from anartha nivritti? Are you becoming pure and free from greed, anger, lust, envy, etc.? Are you becoming attached to Radha and Krishna? Are Radha and Krishna entering into your life, into your thoughts, into your mind, into your dreams? Is your life changing, your life direction, your life schemes, your feelings, ambitions, thoughts, associations, attachments? And definitely they will, if you're following the scientific method of sadhana bhakti. What is Prabhupada titled? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the science of devotional service. It's a science, and Prabhupada argued this point over and again. It's a science, it's a science, it's a science. It's not a religion, it's not a dharma, it's not a speculative imagination, a mental speculation. It's not fanaticism and it's not mental speculation. What did Prabhupada, actually that was his guru's phrase. Our Param Guru Bhakti Santa said, religion without philosophy is sentiment. Fanaticism, sentiment is sentiments. It's just mundane sentiments. Religion without philosophy, isn't it mental speculation or what?
That's philosophy without religion.
Okay, religion without philosophy is mental speculation. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Right? Because if you engage in philosophy and it doesn't bring you to a clear conception of God and realization of God, then you're just speculating, oh, it's like this, or I'm God, or you're God. It's all just a mental concoction or a mental construct. So philosophy without religion is simply a speculative process. The mind is just tossing toy balls in the air of thought. Nothing concrete, nothing solid, nothing really positive. The appropriate sadhana to attain one's sarup and one's service to Sri Radha is revealed by the spiritual master.